So by all means, just start firing, raise your hand, we'll call on you. And Michelle?
I think for the teachers that weren't in the pilot, did you find, maybe compared, would you have chosen to be part of a pilot program before starting the full-fledged one-to-one? Do you feel kind of that you were behind compared to those teachers who had the pilot program?
I can start. My situation's a little different because I teach technology classes, so even though I wasn't part of the pilot program, my kids were in a computer lab, so we were using all of the online tools. They just didn't have a Chromebook that they were using. So I feel like I kind of had an advantage there because when we transitioned to one-to-one, my kids were already using the tools. It was just changing the device. So for me, it was a pretty smooth transition, and there wasn't a lot of change, except for the fact that when we had desktops that were attached to the wall, they couldn't move around and they weren't mobile. And now the way that it's set up where they can easily maneuver their desks around the room and collaborate, it's much better.
I did not feel behind, no. Part of that was because everybody else is in the same boat. You know, the pilot teachers were a relatively small group. And but the other thing I did that I think helped is I got a hold of a Chromebook. And so I personally had one for a year prior to, so that as I was designing curriculum, using certain resources, I needed to make sure that they were functional on the Chromebook, and that I was also, you know, literate in operating the device as well. So when kids, I think that was one of the biggest difficulties is when kids needed assistance with the device. That initially teachers struggled with that a little bit, but I think I transitioned well because I had one.
And this is my second year. So my first year, I used Chromebooks. So I didn't really know anything other than that besides student teaching. So as far as learning, I was able to learn pretty quickly, and I never felt behind. I wouldn't say that as much as for the students, though, but so it was kind of a learning experience and deciding, okay, what do I want to take on this year with the kids and helping them master something with the Chromebooks, and we can do that together. And so then this year I'm more focused on organization with them and having them working on apps, while last year was more like, okay, how do we make a folder? So it's kind of just what do you want to take on with your students that year, and instead of concentrating on everything at once.